let's see. Added focus track, master shots and time lapse. Added raw only photo format. Reduced video recording noise for ProRes of Mavic 3 Cine. Reduced occasional vibration of aircraft arms in some scenarios. Improved return home performance. Improved obstacle avoidance performance. Improved hover stability. Fixed issue, some computers could not connect to the aircraft via USB. Fixed issue, abnormal color appeared in some scenarios. Like what, green balls? Fixed some bugs for remote controller. Alright. So you know actually when the aircraft is updating because the green light is blinking like crazy. Another indicator that the drone is doing something is this light. It keeps blinking just like that.
Till he taught her how to shoot. And Daddy didn't play no games, wouldn't let her trade her name for a fake I do. Boy, you better know what you're getting into. This ain't no shotgun wedding that you're used to. The target is you. If you leave, I'm standing all alone at the altar. Daddy's daughter got a smell.
Alright guys, this is update 1.00.04 for the Mavic 3, and stability wise, I have to say that I've seen on DJI's forums most of the time people with flyaways. I would say that people, when you guys do start flying and you guys do set this bird up, there's multiple times that you have to wait until it tells you that the home point was updated, and it also instructs you within that to use the map to verify the home point.
The home point has been updated. Please check it on the map.
I'm not quite sure if some of these people did that, but if they didn't, because to create the home point, if you're short on GPS and short on satellites, it is going to take a few seconds before it pops in. And with that being said, I would say that you pretty much can avoid flyaways. So that is the first thing. Second of all, when we go through the whole entire list of these patch notes that are in there, they added on focus track, which is not covered in this video. They also added on Hyperlapse, which is covered in this video. I had fun using this bird because ever since the update, I was able to finally use some of the intelligent flight modes, and I'm a huge fan of hyperlapses. So hyperlapse mode in this is very nice, which brings me to hyperlapse mode. Hyperlapse mode in this bird is very nice because the options that they give you are very detailed and very precise. So you can control speed, you can control how much your interval is going to be. You have a locked flight where you can just set it and it's just going to keep going. It had a few drift issues if you go slower because the bird is trying to adjust itself during those times, but that's normal. It's a bird in the air that does a hyperlapse. So I believe if you go over about 1.8 miles per hour or 2.5 miles per hour for a 4-second or 5-second video, you're going to end up going about 1,400, 1,600 feet in distance, which is still going to be able to visualize this bird. I personally had some issues after 1,600 feet to see the bird in the air because it's dark gray. So I brought it back right off the bat because I didn't want to break visual line of sight. So the other part is you have the circular hyperlapse, which is very nice. It comes out really good, especially when you do it in like a 2-second interval lapse. So that is really nice. The one thing that I forgot to mention is that during hyperlapse, you will be given a small square within that mode. That square is initially the video that will be visible to you. The rest, the bird will create the video around it. So that means when it stabilizes it afterwards, after it took all those pictures, that it will create the video for you and it will stabilize it. The one thing that I didn't like about this hyperlapse mode is that unlike my Autel Evo 2 Pro, when you create a hyperlapse, it creates the video for you as well, but it also keeps every picture that it took during the time. In the Mavic 3, it didn't do that. It kept it just the video itself. So the media file that you receive is the processed video. I would like to have it more like that. I have the video myself. I can crop in myself. I can stabilize myself. But it's minor now that I know that that square in the center of that mode will be the visual part of that video for the hyperlapse. Stability wise, this bird is super stable. I had, as you can see in this scene right here, I had some wind and the wind was gusting up to like 40 miles per hour and the bird was still flying solid. So stability wise, I have no problem with this bird. This bird is very quiet too. Like I had a couple people standing around and they were like looking at me kind of funny. What is he looking up for? Flight time wise, this bird has managed to manage this 5,000 milliampere battery very well. I got an average of about 32 to 33, 34 minutes, and that was with heavy gust. That was with going into sports mode and bringing her back and flying her out. And the max distance that I usually go is around 14 to 1,500 feet. That's if I have clear line of sight. If not, I'll stay within the 1,000 feet area around there, depending on what my view is. But battery wise, it was really good. Besides that, I run the TripleTech 7, and with the TripleTech 7 I was able to run 6 batteries of this bird before my controller actually died. So that is very impressive as well. The controller has enormous power in it. I am unable to get at this point financially get the smart controller, but the standard controller with the TripleTech 7, and I believe there's the TripleTech 8 already out on the market. So that is a pretty good combo right over here. And I utilized the Sky-Fi aerial mount to mount it to this controller, which is a very nice setup. So if you guys haven't done so already, look in the description below. You're going to find the link to the Sky-Fi aerial website, and you're going to find the Sky-Fi aerial for this controller for the DJI Mavic 3. And I believe it's also for the Mavic Mini 2. And yeah, it's a nice setup. Color wise, as you can see on all the clips, I haven't done much to it. I have not had to play around with the contrast or the colors or the sharpness or any of that. The picture image quality, the video image quality on this is enormously good. It's really good. I'm really satisfied with this bird. The only time I had issues taking off was because it was closer to the airport range, which was within the 5-mile range. So I was like on the border line of that Class D airspace. And she was telling me that the max height was 160 feet. So I didn't even dare to go anywhere higher than that. I just went up 100 feet, but I didn't get the shot that I wanted anyways with the view, and it didn't line up. So I just brought it back down. I left it like that. Usually if I step within that Class D airspace, I'm supposed to inquire permission. And usually when I do, since the update, this bird has let me taking off, even when I shoot for real estate within the area of that airport, and I inquire for permission and she unlocks, and I'm actually going to be able to take off, which is a nice feature, which I had problems with my Mavic 2 Pro not being able to take off. So I had to always revert back to my Autel Evo 2 Pro. I like how you can set up your waypoints in the Hyperlapse as well, where you can move around. I played around here a little bit with it. It's a little bit too shaky and too much. I put the waypoints not far enough, but the options actually tell you during the time of setting the waypoints if that viewpoint or that angle is too small or enough or good. So therefore, if you intend to make waypoints, make sure that you're aware of your obstacles. I wasn't really willing to try out if obstacle avoidance is working during the Hyperlapse. Even though I have DJI Care Refresh, I will make another video about the obstacle avoidance and how well it actually operates, even with the landing and the return home, and if it avoids the stuff, just to try it out and see how it goes. But that's another video. Stick input wise, the sports version is very, very aggressive. I really like it because she comes back to the points where I really want her, and if you're a good pilot or operator, then you're going to be able to bring the bird back to the position that you want it, switch it back into cine mode, and then just keep going. There's also an option to turn off the obstacle avoidance, and you can turn off the obstacle avoidance while being in cine mode, but I would recommend to keep an eye on the bird at all times, because sometimes there might be some power lines or some thin branches that you might not see. So make sure that you line up a shot prior to even flying, and make sure that you line up everything else and that you see everything. And if you are not sure about the shot, get yourself an observer who's going to be able to help you with that whole thing. Besides that, the initial setup, whenever I update any of my birds, I do remove the propellers, just simply because I'm starting up the bird and I'm in a building. So to avoid unnecessary takeoffs or unwanted takeoffs at that time, I remove the propellers. I set up the bird on a level surface, and I make sure that there's no magnetic or metal objects around or within the area, and I have the controller right next door or right next to it. And yeah, then I run the update. I really appreciate how they did the over-the-air update, while with my Autel Evo 2 Pro I prefer to have the bin file downloaded and put onto the SD card to update the bird. This update ran through without any issues, without any problems. So I updated the DJI Fly app first, and then it prompted me on the top left corner to just simply have that button for install. I pressed install and I ran through the update like no other. It was done afterwards, had a check mark. I test hovered the bird before I went anywhere, just to make sure that everything is good. And test hovering is usually for me about a minute, and I'll just make sure that the bird doesn't want to go anywhere, that the home point is set properly, that the IMU is good, that the compass calibration, everything is good. And from there on out, I'll just travel and I just do whatever I have to do, and I just wait for the prompts in case it tells me there's a compass abnormality that I have to redo the compass calibration. IMU is usually not so much an issue, so IMUs on these birds, the DJI is pretty good about that. Other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys haven't done so already, please don't forget, like, subscribe, hit the bell if you want to see more videos, and I have a lot more videos to come as time permits. Don't forget, be a nice human, wash your hands, and wear your mask. Aloha, everybody.